You don't have to pretend with God. Not now, not ever. He sees past the way you hold yourself together in front of others. He sees the long nights you've cried alone. He sees the silent weight you carry when you smile and say, "I'm fine." God sees you. He knows your pain, and no pain goes unnoticed by Him. No sorrow is too small. No ache is too hidden. There's a kind of comfort in knowing that someone sees what no one else does. The kind of comfort that doesn't need words or explanations, only presence, only understanding. God doesn't wait for you to explain your pain. He doesn't need the right words. He already knows the story behind your silence, the reason for your tired eyes, the weariness in your soul, and still, He stays, even when you feel distant, even when the pain hardens you, even when your faith is faint and your prayers are few. He remains, close enough to hear the groans you cannot put into words. Sometimes, pain isolates. You feel like no one truly understands. And maybe they don't. But God does. He doesn't analyze your weakness from a distance. He steps into it. He sits with you in the sorrow, not with judgment, but with deep divine empathy. You are not a burden to Him, not too much, not too broken, not too far gone. To Him, you are worth staying for, even when you doubt your worth, even when you feel ashamed of how heavy your heart has become. God isn't afraid of your pain. He doesn't flinch at the depth of it, because He's known pain too. He bore the agony of the cross. He cried in a garden, alone, afraid, sweating blood. He felt the sting of betrayal, the weight of loneliness, the crushing silence of unanswered prayers. He's not distant from suffering. He entered it, fully, so He could meet you in yours. There are no tears you've shed that He hasn't counted, no cries He's ignored, no sleepless night that escaped His sight. Your suffering is not forgotten. It's not wasted, and it's not invisible. You may have gotten used to hiding it from others, wearing a smile that covers the ache, pretending you're fine because you think people can't handle your truth. But God doesn't need your performance. He wants your presence, even broken, even confused, even angry, especially angry. Because even when your heart is trembling and your faith is fragile, He stays. When you feel unlovable, He whispers, "I never stopped loving you." When you feel abandoned, He says, "I never left." When you feel forgotten, He reminds you, "You were on my mind when I carried the cross." Sometimes it's not about fixing everything right away. It's about knowing someone is sitting with you in the mess, that someone is God. He doesn't always remove the storm, but He joins you in the boat. He may not silence every pain instantly, but He speaks peace to your soul. You keep wondering why you have to go through this, why healing takes so long, why others seem fine and you're still stuck in the struggle. But God sees a bigger picture, one that's still being painted. He's using what the enemy meant for evil to build endurance, compassion, faith. You're not weak because you cry. You're not a failure because you're tired. You're not distant from God because you have doubts. He is near to the brokenhearted. He lifts up those who are crushed in spirit. And you're still breathing, still standing, still here. Not because you're strong, but because He's holding you. You don't have to pretend with God. He's not impressed by your strength. He's moved by your honesty. When you whisper, "God, I'm not okay," He leans in, not away. When you say, "I don't know how much more I can take," He responds, "My grace is enough." God sees the nights you can't sleep, the mornings you don't want to get up, the weight on your chest that won't lift. And still, He stays. You don't have to clean yourself up before you come to Him. Come messy, come worn, Come empty, and He will fill you. He doesn't just see what you've been through. He sees who you're becoming. Not just the wounded heart, but the healed one that's still in process. You may not feel strong, but you're growing. You may not see the light yet, but you're moving toward it. Every prayer whispered in weakness, every tear cried in silence. He has heard, He has counted. Not 1 second of your pain has gone unnoticed. God's comfort doesn't always come with loud miracles or instant fixes. Sometimes it comes in quiet reminders, a verse you weren't expecting, a song that reaches your heart, a friend's text at the exact right time. That's Him, reaching you, reminding you He's near. When the world rushes you to get over it, God invites you to bring it to Him. He doesn't demand a timeline for your healing. He simply asks for your trust along the way. He sits with you in the waiting. He stays through the confusion. He strengthens you in the unknown. Sometimes the healing isn't the removal of pain, but the presence of peace within the pain. And that peace is not an idea. It's a person. Jesus, the one who wept, the one who bled, the one who understands suffering more deeply than anyone ever could. He doesn't offer empty words. He offers Himself. And that changes everything. If you've ever felt like your tears go unnoticed, remember, God collects them. Not one is wasted. Psalm 56:8 says, "You have kept count of my tossings. Put my tears in your bottle. Are they not in your record?" What kind of love does that? Only a love that watches you even when you break, that holds you even when you pull away, that whispers peace when your heart is too heavy to hear it clearly. There is no suffering too small for God to care about, no pain too deep for Him to reach, no shame too strong for His grace to break. Even in the silence, He's working. Even in the confusion, He's guiding. Even when you don't see the path, He's already walked ahead of you. Faith isn't pretending everything is fine. Faith is trusting Him even when it's not. And maybe the bravest prayer isn't, "God, fix this," but, "God, be with me in this." And He will, because He already is. God never promised life without pain. He promised His presence through it. And in that promise is our peace. There will be nights when the ache returns, mornings when the weight feels too much, but in all of it, He is near. In Isaiah 43:2, He reminds you, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned." Notice it doesn't say, "if you pass through the waters," but when. Pain is not a punishment. It's a part of the journey. But you never walk it alone. He sees the hidden wounds, the silent battles, the moments you smile so others won't worry. But inside, you're collapsing. And still, He stays. Still, He calls you beloved. Still, He offers rest. So take a breath. You are seen. You are heard. You are known. And more than anything, you are loved. Let that be enough for today. Let His nearness quiet the lies. Let His strength hold what you can't. Because even in the deepest pain, you are never abandoned. You are His, and that will always be enough.